Welcome to Hamilton Works. I'm Al Lutchin. With me is Denise Doyle, CEO for the YWCA. Welcome, Denise.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Let's talk about jobs in the nonprofit sector here in Hamilton. I know that that's probably a sector that people don't think about much when they're looking for jobs, and YWCA has a lot, and so do a lot of other agencies.
Yeah, there's actually a wealth of opportunity within the not-for-profit sector, and most people may tend to think of a certain type of employment in the not-for-profit, but in fact, we look for a wide array of skills coming into our organization, and I know other not-for-profits do as well, whether that be finance, whether that be administration, whether it be maintenance, whether it be program directors, fitness, childcare. We have a lot of job opportunities within the YWCA.
And what's your suggestion to folks who are out job searching or surfing on the internet? What should they be looking for? What's the major portal?
I think one of the first places they should look is charityvillage.ca. Most not-for-profits in Hamilton post on that particular website. Also look in your local paper. We do post there as well. But I would say Charity Village is a really good place to start.
Now, for example, at your place of business with the YWCA, how many employees would you have overall?
We have about 250 employees, half full-time and the other half part-time. So we have opportunities on both ends.
And overall, roughly, how many sort of jobs do you think would be in the nonprofit sector in Greater Hamilton? Certainly several thousand, right?
At least several thousand. I think when we look at agencies like the YMCA, they have close to 2,000 employees. I know the Good Shepherd's around 500. So yeah, well, I would say to you that there is a huge potential within the sector. And for those of you who are just graduating and you have a particular passion for the environment, for women, for housing, there are opportunities out there waiting for you.
Now, what about education skill set that sort of nonprofits would be looking at? Is it sort of different than the for-profit organizations?
No, it's not. Depending on the type of job, we'd be looking for those who have advanced degrees in finance, if you're going to be in our finance areas. We look for MBAs, we look for people who are chartered accountants, as do most organizations. The requirements within the sector are very stringent. We report to multiple funders and we have to ensure quality assurance, so we're looking for that expertise there. If you have a passion within program development or program management, we're going to be looking for people with business degrees. We'll also be looking for people with general degrees. Ideally, people coming into the not-for-profit sector, as I said, they generally have a passion for maybe whatever the organization. Right. For us, it would be women and girls. But they also are able to provide, they have a number of skills that they can share in the organization. So what happens is that in the not-for-profit sector, we can't necessarily hire someone who's because of our finances and because of our budgets, we can't always hire as many people as we'd like to. So it's a great opportunity for someone to spread their wings and use their skills in a number of ways. We call it multitasking.
Right on. That's great. And you were saying just before we got on air that in a lot of cases people will start off in a junior position and then work their way up to a more senior position.
Yeah, there are lots of opportunities within the sector for movement. And I think we're facing what everyone is we're going to have a lot of people retire in the next 5, 10, 15 years. And there will be opportunity for leadership within the organization to move into more senior positions.
That's great. Now, do you have a website that people should go to, for example, with your group?
We do, ywcahamilton.org, and we post our jobs online, and we'd be happy to have people check out our positions. And we have positions available today.
That's great. Denise, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much, Al.
Thank you. Welcome back to Hamilton Works. I'm your host, Al Lutchin. And with me are two very special guests from Hamilton Police Services. Rosemarie Auld, who is the Manager of Human Resources for Hamilton Police Services, and Constable Marcine Blake, also with Hamilton Police Services and works in recruiting. Yes. And welcome to you both. Thanks for taking time to be here.
Thank you for having us. And
I understand you're on a major recruiting program, and we were talking just before we came on the show that policing has gone through such a major evolution.
It has. Hamilton Police Service has over 1,200 employees currently. We hire sworn police officers, civilians, and volunteers. We have almost 400 volunteers working for us as well. and there's plenty of opportunities for careers in policing.
Marcine, tell me why you chose police work.
I chose police work because of what it embodies, giving back to your community, making difference in people's lives, and that's what I've been doing for about 21 years now with the police service.
Now, when you're out recruiting, what kinds of people are you looking for in terms of skill set, demeanor?
Some of what we're looking for is individuals who have a commitment to certain things, a commitment to education, the capacity to learn and willing to open their self up to new ideas and new skill sets. Volunteering, giving back to your community is one of the biggest important things the organization looks for. Is somebody who's willing to give back to their community outside of themselves, not something that somebody told them to do, but what they want to do in this job.
Yeah, because it's really a lifetime commitment, isn't it?
It is. We call it now, a new byline is one career, endless opportunities. It is not just a job, it's a career. That's a 30-year commitment to an organization that looks at from the start in a uniform officer on the cruiser to somehow going through the organization to potentially being a senior officer if you have all the skill sets and the qualifications required.
Now, you were talking about when you joined as a constable, uniformed, of course, and
Yes.
then you've gone through different sort of departments within the organization. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, when all officers that start in uniform capacity. So we're in the cruiser doing calls to the community. And as you go through the organization, then you get an opportunity, what we call professional development position that are out there. I had an opportunity to be in CID, which is our criminal investigations branch, opportunity to be in vice and drugs, and then an opportunity to work in our human resources sector before now becoming the recruiter for the service.
Excellent. What are some of the challenges you face in recruiting, Rosemary?
A lot of people think that you have to have an education in police foundations. That can be helpful, but we hire people from many disciplines. So in addition to the commitment to continuing education, and we really value people who want to give back to the community, we look for people with a variety of skill sets because policing has changed. So people with an IT background, people from business administration, accounting, we hire nurses and engineers, so a variety of backgrounds. The more diversity we have in the organization, the better the police service that we can be.
So anybody who's out in the audience thinking about police work, let's say it's somebody who wants a career change and they're maybe, say, 35 years old for the sakes of discussion. Could be younger, could be older. Should they give you a call?
Certainly. First of all, I would direct them to our website, www.hamiltonpolice.on.ca. And on there, there's a career section that talks to you about police careers, civilian careers, and volunteer careers. Any specific civilian opportunities that are open, there are postings on that web page. And then we are constantly hiring police officers. We've hired over 400 in the last 5 years, and we anticipate, due to retirements, to hire another couple hundred over the next few years. And we've had a number of retirements on the civilian side as well, and we anticipate replacing those staff as well. So there will be opportunities available. Never been a better time to apply to the Hamilton Police Service.
Now, just out of interest, do you get applications from across country, across Canada?
We do, but primarily we look for people who are committed to the City of Hamilton and who are from the City of Hamilton, but we do get people from across Canada who do apply.
And that's what you were saying, Marcine. When you join, you're looking for the person that's got the profile where they're very dedicated to the community.
Absolutely.
To Rosemary's point, want a top-notch career in policing, because it's a major investment, isn't it, for the organization?
It is. It's a financial and personal investment in that individual. So what we don't want is individuals that come from well outside of our catchment area, out of our boundaries. And then what we noticed in the past is that they come to Hamilton and we put the investment of money and time into them, that we're afraid, if it's a good candidate, that they're going to leave to go back to their home base, right? So, but a lot of the times what we find that if they come from outside there, they come to Hamilton, they choose to stay because it's a great organization to work for, and that what we are doing here and our vision of the organization, to see a vision of it, they want to stay and be a part of that change.
Now, do you compete very much, say, with other emergency services, say ambulance and fire?
I don't think we compete with them, because I think that anybody that's coming to the police service who puts their application to be a police officer, that is what they want to do. I would think that in the college system, they under emergency services, but a lot of people take police foundations or law and security. It really is that the end result of where they want to be is to be in policing and be a police officer. But we do get a lot of people who are in paramedics or have been in firefighting that decide that they want a second career and then come over to be a police officer.
Now, do you do a lot of recruiting in schools, like, for example, high schools and college level, Rosemary?
We do. We have a number of youth programs, so we do hire students in the summer. We have a YIPI program, which is Youth and Policing Initiative. We also have co-op programs, so we partner with our schools. But in addition to that, our recruiting department, as well as, so part of Marcine's job is to go out and speak to groups in the community. But we also have our youth liaison officers, so they go out into the schools as well and they talk about a career in policing. We're reaching out to all members of the community.
So you're really looking for diversity now, aren't you? That's a big word in policing, right?
Actually, if you speak more than one language, that's really valuable to us because we are looking for people that are representative of the community, because that certainly helps with the skill sets in being reflective of the community and assisting our community in coming to resolutions.
Now, what about physical fitness? Let's talk a little bit about that. Like, I don't think I'd probably would be very successful if I was being recruited, because I'm probably a little overweight. I'm on a diet. But let's talk a little bit about that in terms of physical fitness. Should this be a big issue when people apply? Marcine?
It is. One of the process that the individuals go through is through the constable selection system. And one of the main components that they have to follow is what we call a PREP, Physical Readiness Evaluation for Police. And so that is a component that they can find on the website. It tests your ability to chase an individual. It takes you through some of the things that we will do as an officer,
Right.
chasing off a suspect, struggling with them to get them handcuffed and dragging somebody out of a burning building or just to rescue somebody. So there are certain things that you really do have to be able to have in order to get through that. And that is something that is done through ATS, Applicant Testing Service. So most individuals have to have those first before they even put their application into a police service. So it's called the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police certificates that they have to have first, and that's a component of that. Now you see on the street, right, you know, most people look at the street and say an officer's like, sometimes it's not just whether or not, as you say, you know, could not consider you overweight. Some people who are, there's the ability for them to get through some of that stuff. Even running and walking a lot, you may see your cardiovascular improve more than you think they are just by doing that little bit of walking and stuff like that. So those things are important.
One thing I would add is that we did recognize that the physical test could be a barrier to people.
Right.
So women, for example, are intimidated in taking the physical test, and some people are quite small in stature could also be intimidated. So what the recruiting department has done is we now do prep mentoring. So we purchased all the equipment, we have it set up in our gym, and we offer monthly on a regular basis for people who come to our information sessions and are interested in a career in policing and are putting forward an application. We let them try the equipment, and then we have a staff member on there who's a fitness instructor, and he can work with you and say, this is what you need to do to develop this area. This is the area that you're having trouble with. Eventually, everybody can pass. If you have a commitment to be a police officer,
If you have that will.
if you have that will, everybody can pass. The test is not that onerous that you can't. And for most people, it's just removing the fear. So when they come out and they see the test and they try the test and then they get the techniques on what they need to do to improve their physical fitness, they can go off to their own gym or work in their backyard and improve and then come back and take the test.
That's great that you've got this mentoring program.
We do mentoring as well for interviewing. So part of Marcine's job is to meet 3 or 4 times a year with groups to talk to them about the process, but then also once people have an application in, she meets with them regularly to explain the process.
Well, that's great. Well, I want to wish you both good luck in your recruiting, and hope you get lots of great people from Hamilton. And thank you so much for your time, Rosemary. Constable Blake, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
More on Hamilton Works right after this. Welcome back to Hamilton Works. I'm Al Lutchin. With me is Ann Tenier, Vice President, Environmental Affairs for Maple Leaf Foods. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Pleased
much
to be
for your
here.
time.
Thank you.
You've got some major investment happening in Hamilton with Canada Bread opening just recently, and the announcement of the close to $400 million meat processing plant for Maple Leaf Foods.
Right.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, no, it's a terrific story. We're very happy to be here in Hamilton. As you mentioned, we started out first with our bakery. We've had some existing operations here, of course, for many years, but our new bakery, which is up on Nebo Road and 20, just started production earlier this year.
That's exciting.
Very exciting. It's 375,000 square feet, $100 million facility, state-of-the-art bakery for us, and it's going to be a real workhorse bakery for us. And that really led us to looking on the meat side of our business as well, and we knew we wanted to modernize our facilities, and so now we're in the process of going through permitting for a new facility, a new meat processing facility just around the corner from our bakery.
That's amazing. So once the two plants are fully up and operational, I understand close to 1,000 new jobs.
That's right. There'll be a little over 1,000 jobs between both facilities when they're up fully commissioned and fully operational.
That's wonderful, and
Yeah.
I understand both plants are state-of-the-art, like world-class, probably
are.
#1 in North America.
They are. We've done a lot of research for both facilities worldwide, really, to get the best technology, to give our customers the best products that we can possibly offer them. And so we've got technologies that we're bringing into Canada for the first time, which will allow us to cook our meat products right in the bag and really keep some very good food safety aspects to those products.
Now, when you were looking, I'm sure there were a lot of other cities wanted one of these two flagship facilities, and I'm sure your phone was ringing a lot. How did you decide on Hamilton?
Well, it was actually quite a rigorous process that we did go through. We worked with the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, who helped us identify, first of all, some of the cities who might actually be interested in hosting, on the meat side, our meat processing plant. And so we actually spoke with, or assessed 24 different locations around Ontario and in Manitoba. And then through the course of discussion and further detail, ended up narrowing it down to a few locations in southern Ontario, and Hamilton really stood out.
And just out of interest, I'm sure the workforce and the quality of our workforce here in Hamilton must have been a part of it.
Certainly. I mean, access to a very high quality, skilled labor force is a key consideration for us. We're seeing that now with our new bakery. We've got quite a few employees there now, about 100 employees are already working in our new bakery. And we're exceedingly happy with the workforce that's there. They're terrific people.
And what would be the general skill set that you'd be looking for? I'm sure it's a range, but
we'll have certainly management supervision as well as skilled trades, through maintenance. We'll want to have employees who are accustomed or comfortable working with technology, because some of these plants are really very automated. And so we need to have people who are comfortable working with automation and computers, who also are able to work in an assembly environment. So it's quite a broad range of skills that we'll be offering at both plants.
Now, the total investment it's hundreds of millions.
It is. At our new bakery, it's right around $100 million. And the new meat processing plant will be just shy of $400 million. So between the two plants, it's about $500 million worth of investment in Hamilton between 2011 and 2014. So it's a really great infusion of cash, I think, for the community.
Oh, that's an amazing investment. I mean, we're so proud that Maple Leaf Foods has picked Hamilton.
Oh, and we're pleased to be here. We really are.
And it's so great for people who are looking for a career transition. They might be in one job looking to jump into a career such as Maple Leaf. I mean, I'm sure that the benefits are very good and the career opportunities are there.
Certainly. I mean, we offer the full range of benefits to our employees. We're all about developing our employees so that they have the maximum opportunity available to them. So that's a big part of what we do and how we train our employees. And of course, training is going to be a very significant part of both the plants. just in commissioning our bakery, we've run some very significant training programs to get our new employees up to speed on how you actually make bread and how you do it consistently day in and day out. So we'll be doing the same thing on the meat processing side.
So that's interesting. So the training and skill set, I'm sure, is quite different today than it was, say, 10 years ago.
I suppose it probably is, and 10 years doesn't seem very long, really. But when you think about the level of automation in plants now that has really come forward, the expectation of quality from our customers and consumers, the necessity for strong food safety programs, all of those things make for facilities that have to be world-class if you want to compete both nationally and internationally.
And I was going to ask you a question about the international market, like the products that you would be making here and processing here in Hamilton at the future plants. Would this be going offshore as well?
Well, certainly our bakery products would be mostly in Ontario.
Right.
However, some of our meat processing products will end up going offshore, international, into the U.S. So that's always a standard that we have to look at as well, because we do have to compete with the requirements of other countries in mind.
So that really puts Hamilton, to a certain extent, on an international stage, doesn't it?
It does. On the food side, really, Hamilton's becoming quite a significant player in the food industry. And as I understand, I believe that that's one of the areas of expertise or center of excellence that the city government wants to establish for Hamilton. They do want Hamilton to become a center of excellence for food. So I think we're excited to be part of that. The success of any community is the diversity that it brings, whether it's diversity of people, diversity of industry, diversity of arts, and really we're happy to be part of that. And I think it bodes well for Hamilton.
No, absolutely, because I'm sure that you're sort of the pathfinder in some of this in terms of the breakthrough technology that you're bringing, and you know, hopefully it'll attract other major corporations.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I mean, there's always spin-off industry that comes along with, you know, I mean, obviously we have distribution, we'll have suppliers, all of the maintenance that goes along with plants like this. So I'm sure it'll attract some additional business into the Hamilton area.
Now, the meat processing plant, it's opening roughly 2014.
Yes.
And so when should people sort of start to watch your website for applying for those jobs?
Oh, I would say probably sometime in 2013 start watching. It takes time to hire people, to hire the right people, to make sure they get the training that they need, and so on. So I expect that we'll probably be starting to look for people mid-2013.
Yeah, so the training, as you've pointed out, is a major part of this, and I think that that's a topic that's of a great interest to myself in career planning, and also to our audience, that the company puts so much value on its human assets that it's prepared to make that investment.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if you don't have a workforce that maintains its skill level and in fact increases its skill level, that is adaptable to new technologies that are coming in, then it's a very difficult workforce to work with, and difficult for the company and difficult for our employees, in fact. So we continually provide training to our employees, and we're going to be doing that as well in these new plants.
Now, where can people go to a website?
Well, just go to www.mapleleaf.com or www.canadabread.com, and you'll see areas on those websites where you can go, and if you're interested in a career with Maple Leaf, there's information available there.
Now, are you getting very many calls, say, from other types of companies that might be interested in sort of locating in Hamilton to talk about, you know, like why Hamilton, how'd you go through the processes?
Not at this point. Right now we're really getting a lot of calls from suppliers, from companies who want to be involved in the construction of the facility, of course, which, you know, I mean, this is where we are. This is the phase of the business that we're in at the moment. But I'm sure we will, particularly after the plants are commissioned, or as people see the plant. We've got one plant that's already constructed. We see the second one being constructed. I think people will want to know, and companies will want to know why, and my gosh, we'll be happy to tell them why. It's a good story.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming in, and good luck for both the facilities.
Thank you.
And thank you for choosing Hamilton.
Oh, it's been a good experience for us, and we're pleased to be here.
Thank you. Ann Tenier, VP Environmental Affairs for Maple Leaf Foods, with 2 major operations underway here in Hamilton. Thank you for watching Hamilton Works. I'm Al Lutchin.